Hi, you guys. So, I'm doing a soul rebirth journey for Jonathan today. And if you're not used to my channel, I'm sharing psychic sessions openly on YouTube from any clients who wish to share. And Soul Rebirth Journey is 60 minutes of energy, work, and wisdom. So I'm going to go into Jonathan's spiritual atmosphere. We're going to learn about Jonathan's soul journey. I'm going to do energy work to make Jonathan feel awesome today. So Jonathan, I want to thank you for your open-mindedness to share. I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes. For those of you watching, he's just going to allow me to keep it open. He's just looking for the most important message and clearing, looking for some physical comfort so I can just be. So that's what he says. So I'm going to go ahead and relax. I'm really excited to connect with you today. I'm going to get connected with your spiritual atmosphere. Yeah, I feel, it's almost like, it's almost hard to speak right now, because I feel a lot of heaviness. There's no real visual information right now. There's only the experience of heaviness and then a really big rounded orb of energy. And you are the orb of energy, but this aura here is just really heavy, and it's expanded out a really long way, and it just feels very heavy. Also, this is really associated with the emotional gut region. Also, I feel a little in the throat and the mental body. I'm not experiencing it so much in the heart right now, although I'm quite convinced it's also in the heart, but we'll just go through the layers here. Just going to allow myself to feel. I just keep experiencing the color yellow, and then I just kind of want to hold my head down. This is what is deep. This is the deep essence that is emanating here at the surface. The heart is really like, why is all this other stuff in front of the heart? Because the heart is really, the heart needs you to feel the love within yourself, but you're choosing to experience the emotions. It's choosing to be experienced in the throat, and it's also choosing to be experienced in the mind. But the heart is really wanting you to put those behind you and move the heart forward. Because when you move the heart forward, it allows everything to come into peace and balance with itself through the gift of love. I gotta keep going with it. I'm just kind of like flopping every step. I just feel like my shoulders are kind of hunched forward and my body's just kind of hunched forward, and just kind of, flopping as I walk. And I just don't want to hold myself up, and I don't want to have that strength, like strength in my bones and strength in my muscles and strength in all that I am, because there's something of the exhaustion and the emotions and the throat and in the mind. And it's just weighing everything down and moving everything to pulling it forward like this. The more I move through, we're just continuing to go through the layer and allow this layer here to let go of itself. But we have to experience and explore it first, so it can also self-realize. Okay, we want to be buried 6 feet underground. So the earth opens up and creates a grave where you choose to go to sleep. But it's not as if you die. You just kind of want to like live in the grave and just sleep here and just feel like this. Kind of like a dead person, but still alive. But you don't want it to be. I mean, some part of your heart wants to welcome somebody to come into this grave with you to tenderly help you feel better, to see what you're going through, to love you for who you are. but you also don't want to let go of feeling this way. And you actually need to let go of feeling this way, because if you don't, you are going to bring this person down into the grave with you. And no matter how much love they give to you down here, it's not going to be what you think it would be in order to help you heal and get out. It's actually going to bring them down, and then it's going to keep them down here with you. But you need to let go of this yourself. There's an energy movement in the back of the head here, down the spinal column. It's just like, ooh, I feel it going down the spinal column. Energetic reactions here to the communication, okay? Okay, so in the visual image, I see you laying in the grave, and then there's a woman that is sort of like a very bright and smiling soul, and she waves at you down there, and you welcome her to come down here with you, to please come down here with me. But she stays up here because in her mind she knows if she goes down there that you're going to trap her. And she feels like to be herself and to emanate this bright light and to emanate her joy, she has to stay above ground. And she's encouraging you to come above the ground, but you say, but you're not understanding. I actually need you to come down here for me to get above the ground. I start to see that this is not the truth, and it's creating a lot of awful roots to grow around you and into this space, and it's starting to close you in, and then the roots themselves are growing around you like a fist that wants to pull you down deeper into darkness. And so should she feel bad for you? Should she feel worried about you? Should she need to come down even deeper to rescue you? The spirit realm says no. She needs to actually stay where she is bright and she is shiny. Otherwise, it's going to tarnish her, and that's not going to be good for her or healthy for her. So now you actually have to beat this thing yourself. You actually have to beat this thing yourself, and that is actually very, very good. It's courageous, it's mighty, it's the knight in shining armor. It's actually your true potential. It's who you truly are, and you don't need anybody to rescue you from yourself, because you need to rescue yourself from yourself. And then when you do that, you can go and meet this one and walk side by side, both of you glowing with light. So she in her heart is thinking about you, and she's questioning whether or not she did the right thing. And now she's starting to not glow so much anymore. She dangles her legs over the side of this open grave as she sees you having been pulled miles and miles and miles into darkness. And she just says, okay. She goes off the side and she falls down into darkness with you. Because she loves you. And because she loves you, she will use the light as her strength to bring you up and out of this, or to at least try. Is that not what angels do? Angels incarnate do this too. It's a lot harder and a lot scarier. And she could get lost in darkness and not be able to come back out the same way you have. We're starting to discover that there may be some secrets about your own soul as an angel that got lost in darkness. But they aren't saying that right now. I just see darkness everywhere, and I experience her trying to find you in the dark, but I also experience you. There's like an awful root system that is wrapped around you, and you're inside of a ball of roots in sort of a dark corner. And there's an awful root that goes straight into your lower back, and it just goes straight into you, and it's just sort of feeding off of your emotions, your suffering. It's just continuing to consume those vibes, and because it is there, it also influences you to feel that way. So what about her? The roots know she's here, and the roots know that she too is a tasty morsel. It's very odd because it does work with the frequency of sexuality, actually. Um, I'm not quite certain as to why, but obviously, sexual energy is extremely powerful. It is creation, it is the frequency that creates in the universe. And so somehow it's feeding off emotions and sexual creative energy, but it's also feeding off of even kind of heart in some way, but it's just really in there and just like gulp, 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 like it's the big gulp as it's consuming all of these frequencies of yours. It wants to influence her as well, and then it wants to influence you both to feel like you have found each other more intimately in the darkness than you find each other in the light. So it wants to influence your relationship to be dark and twisted love instead of love that comes from the light. And it's actually welcoming her to become a part of its root system. That way you can actually work together on the same frequency, and you can love each other on the same frequency in the dark. So now it's somehow showing me that it's rooted into her too. So now you both can love each other in bliss in the dark emotions as well. She's not experiencing it on the same level, and I don't know that it necessarily has rooted her. And it's not really for her. I know the root system is saying this stuff, but I really don't experience that this has happened to her, and I don't feel that it's really appropriate for her to have that experience. And she's kind of she's crafty because she's managed to find a flashlight. So she's going through these dark catacombs with the flashlight all by herself, looking for you in the dark. And it's very creepy and spooky down here. It's kind of like an old lost catacombs, and the only light is her flashlight. And there's sort of creepy things that move about the walls, and bats and cobwebs and spiders and creepy crawlies, spirit creepy crawlies and physical ones, as she looks for you, but she just ignores them. And she's determined to find you. She tells me that if I would have stayed up at the top in the grasses, then I wouldn't have known challenge, and I love you enough to help you and to face that challenge in order to bring you back into the light. Is nothing for my soul to want to do that for you. And she's not afraid of the root system, and she's not afraid of anything that's down here. She will find you. But this is only the beginning. I tell her, if you're down here for 1,000 years, day one is easy. Day 1,000 is a different story. Just look at people who have to survive in the wilderness. They change too. People who have to survive in extreme conditions. Day one is easy. Day 1,000 is a different story. She says, I don't care. I can do this. I smile at her and I say, you're awesome. I see this as you have a massive energetic tumor over your entire chest region, and it's got a lot of little legs that are just it's like suctioned to you. This is on another layer of your energy field, so it's like really suction around the heart, and then but its whole body, it's like an amoeba that's all the way around your whole torso, and it's got all these little hands, these little fingerlings that just sort of clamp around the back, and it's just totally suctioned to you. You're going to feel awesome, Jonathan, when I get all of these. These are even when I went through a lot of years of depression, for instance, and it was the weirdest thing. I started to have visions of parasitic things that were attached to me, and I was living underground, and I didn't understand it because I wasn't psychic at that time. I didn't really know what any of this meant. But if I chose to say, I remember there was one time I was fighting this parasite, and I was so mad at it and say, how dare you, you need to get out, you need to leave. And you would just smile and grow bigger and fatter and fatter and fatter. And then I was like, okay, that's not working. I love you. You are so beautiful. Thank you so much for everything you taught me. Then it starts to scream. It's like whole face freaks out, and it withers really fast, and it just disappeared. Bam, gone. And I was like, what? What was that? And at the time that I found myself buried underground with a lot of other souls that were looking blue, and in basically a stomach, a really awful grinding stomach in the ground, and I was freaking me out, and I didn't know what to make of it. And as I was watching this, Mother Earth actually came in and said, what are you doing down here? And then she literally burst me up and out of the ground, and I discovered I was a flower that grew backward. I grew inside the ground instead of out into the sunlight. So these echoes here in your spiritual atmosphere remind me of things that I was visionarily seeing. This would have been probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But I couldn't really relate to it, but it stayed with me, right? So these are kind of reminding me of the space within you too, because depressive energy attracts energy feeders. We have in the physical world the sucky fish that like to clean off all of the gunk at the bottom of the fish tank. Well, we have those energetically too, these energy feeders. They're just hungry. They're just hungry for a certain type of frequency, but you can remove them really quick and easy by simply seeing them, loving them, and saying, I want to go back to the love now. Well, they can't really feed off of love because that's not their food. It's like the sucky fish eat the fish poop. They don't eat the apples, they eat the gross stuff, not the happy stuff. So these guys eat the gross energies and not the happy energies. And they can also influence us to feel gross too. So seeing this is really it's pretty normal if you're feeling really low. My spirit guides say this isn't normal. They say when you feel really, really low for a long extended period of time, that's when it starts to attract these types of friends. They aren't negative entities. I don't define them as a negative entity or a demon or anything like that. I just find them to be like parasites or something. And they're really not scary at all for me to see. They're just bottom feeders. Let's just call them bottom feeders. So I just accept that it is here, and I just touch it around the backside. It doesn't want to let go, and I start to see you're sort of under a liquid that's starting to go down the drain, and the bottom feeder is very gross feeling. It's got millions of little hairs that are trying to find this food source, and it can't. It's almost like it's blind, and it can only see through the frequency of the food source. So its fingers are just touching you all over, and I feel it, and it's so gross. And it's just trying, and it's got this sucker mouth that's it's trying to find. And it's around your face and your throat and around your chest right now. I'm starting to see there's several of them. They're coming out from behind you now too, and they're trying to find it. They know it's here somewhere. Man, you're in a pile of them. I'm starting to the scene is opening up and opening up and opening up, and there's a pile of them. And you're in a really deep catacombs with piles and piles and piles. You ever see those bugs that live under rotted wood, and they're a grayish color, and they're this big? They kind of look like that. They actually kind of look like that. So there's just piles and piles and piles of them in here. Now we can see, my spirit guides are showing me, that dark, that sort of dense space that just was expanded out for miles. That was the rotted wood energy that they were thriving in, and it was the size of this massive catacombs where they're all just in piles right now. There's millions of them in piles, trying to figure out where the food source went. This is actually really hard for you, and to get the strength to stand up because you've been so energetically consumed. It's really hard for you to stand up right now, and you're tired, and you're not familiar with allowing love to come in and nurture you. You're trying to do everything all by yourself with your last dying breath, and it's just that's kind of what it's like. You're just worn out. And there's lots of little tiny ones popping out the lower back right now. Lots of little tiny ones. And that whole root system is just drying up and withering away because it was all interconnected with all these little, this collective consciousness of bottom feeder insect type parasites. They're just energy parasites. So they're just popping, they're still popping out of the lower back. It's an infinite space. You can have trillions and trillions and trillions. You have a whole universe of them in here if you wanted to. But they're just coming out the back. So there's a new shift of or change in the direction. There's something about that frequency space. It's like, we have there's like this kundalini space, let's just call it, at the base of the spine. But I always see I always see the energy portals in the lower back. So there's something about this. It's this sexual body space. But it's like kundalini. It's all that is in here. And there's something about this imbalance in here too, because a lot of those parasites were absorbing energies, and I don't know how they were accessing the emotions that make us feel like, they were accessing them in the sexual body area and in the emotional region, and really like influencing the mind and the throat and all this, but it's not allowing the heart to be at the forefront. So they were controlling all this stuff. But now they're popping out, and I see the sexual body really needs balance, because a huge lot of them were in there. I mean, that was like the root canal. You're actually coming along very well, and I see you feeling more empowered and not so just completely walking dead. This part of this sort of other half is starting to glow brighter as she walks through the dark catacombs with the flashlight. So she herself is starting to emanate light. The more you heal, the brighter she gets. And she's still looking for you. But you realize that part of the pathway of you finding each other is you have got to get brighter. Right now, you're so dim and dark, she's not going to be able to find you because you're still blending in with the darkness. But she's trying to find you. So you need to help her a little bit by healing yourself so you become brighter, more visible. And this is a maze down here. I mean, it's a total maze. Rats are down here. So it's like there's like a water. There's like a... like underground sewers is kind of like it. That's what it's like down here as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are not down here. Splinter the rat is not down here, but there are rats down here. Infested rats. It's just not fun down here. There's nothing warm and cozy and yummy down here at all. It's all gross stuff, and it stinks. And that's where a part of your essence is really stooped to a really deep, stinky, low-level vibration that's hard to get out of when you get down there. It is. I know personally how hard it is. But you're doing a great job so far. I've been watching her, and then I see you in a totally other room. But you are getting stronger, but there's still sort of a... I'm trying, but it's still not, you're still not there yet. It's a quick flashback to where we started at the grave and her sitting up there, but you still say no, not yet. I need to stay down in the dark still. I need to stay down here. I'm not ready to go up there yet. I say, what is it that you need to find or experience in the dark that is going to satisfy you? Because while you're down here, you're going to be longing for love and say you're not. And you're going to continue, just like the bottom feeders, to digest and absorb nasty, stinky energy. And what is that doing for your soul? Like, what is that doing for your human life experience? That is just creating more of the same thing you've already know. So some relationship with this frequency, your soul says, I need this. It's reminding me of some part of myself. I still long to have that connection. I need to learn more about it. I'm not at peace with it yet to go back into the light yet. So we need to understand what is deeper even beneath the surface of this that is calling to your soul to stay down here. What is this? Like, what is the influence here? When I say that, you say, wow, thank you, Abbey. I realize now that I'm down here in the first place because I'm looking for something. And it's not her, by the way. You are not looking for her down here. She is looking for you because she saw you going into the darkness. She got very concerned about you. She went down there to find you when in the end, you're not actually looking for her. That's kind of stinks for her, doesn't it? This is all just a story, all right? But it's for contemplation. It's for perspective. So now she's going to have to find herself down here. And how long is it going to take for her to do that when she is down here not for herself but for you? So we still have lots of time. We are going to know the finale of the story and your soul and her soul and everything. So let's see what happens next. You start to become the darkness yourself, but it's not like evil. It's like depression or sorrow. It's like a sorrow frequency, but it's dark. It's shadowy. Now you're even darker than ever before, but you're standing on your own 2 feet. I mean, you were starting to glow a little bit, and she was starting to glow a lot brighter. But now that you are choosing to find yourself, now she's gonna be getting confused here. But you are getting darker now in order to find yourself. So she's noticing her flashlight isn't working anymore, and she's starting to see that something's changed within herself. And now she doesn't know where the doorway is out. And now she's going to become a victim. If she allows her fears to open her up to that, she can still be strong. I'm not allowed to talk to her anymore. She has to find her own way now. I start to see her becoming very dark and experiencing like she lost some part of herself, and she can't remember how that happened or why that happened. She has no memory of even you or being up at the top of the gravesite or even how she got down here. She doesn't even remember any of it. She just feels like she's been walking through a maze for a long time, and she doesn't even know why, and she doesn't know how to get out, and she doesn't even really remember that the flashlight ever worked. It went out still in her hand, and there's nothing down here, but it stinks and it's gross and it's creepy. All of her memory is gone. Just a release of frequencies here. I can't even get to define what they feel like because I have no emotion related to what this feels like. But it's touching your soul, that I know. Your soul knows what this is. Starting to come out fully now, so we can let it out. Ugh. It just, pooh, it's coming out now. That feels better. Whew. That feels a lot better. But I gotta go into the dark place with you, and it's really thick and heavy, and it's really dense. And it's weird because the doorway in is really complicated. I don't know, how did you even get in here? I don't even know how you got in here. But you did. It's like, how did the spiders get into my house, dang it? This house is sealed. They somehow find a way in. You somehow found a way into this doorway. Gosh, it's just like, it's like literally walking through goopy mud in a hallway full of goopy mud, and we're just walking through it like it's air or something, but it's goopy, ridiculously goopy mud. And then we only walk about 5 feet, and there's like a tunnel that goes straight downward, caked full of goopy mud. And she will not find this doorway, I am telling you that. She's on her own. She's having her own life experiences now. Is this your soul journey together? Maybe. I don't know, but I know that her soul's actually having her own life experiences right now. So she doesn't even remember your soul. She doesn't even know your soul right now. So she followed your soul into a dark place. You could say you're both angels that chose to incarnate, and you saw him go through the struggle incarnating here. So then she wanted to come down to help you out of her own choice. Because her love and her light would be enough. Well, somehow your soul forgot, there's like, we're both now on 2 pathways of different kinds, and we're both in a self-discovery experience. So I actually experienced her soul having many lifetimes here without you, and she doesn't even remember you. She doesn't even know anything about what inspired this in the first place. Nothing. And she's been going through challenges in a dark place, which I guess you could say is planet Earth. We're all going through challenges in a dark place here. So I think all of our souls, in a way, did this one way or another. And we wanted to help. So we're going through a caked, muddy portal, I guess. It's like a tube, and we're going down. It's hard because we try to go down, but the mud doesn't want to let us go deeper. It just wants to create like a landing pad, and you don't get to go deeper than this. It just doesn't want to let us go deeper. This somehow is caked into your mental body. It's somehow in your mental body, and then it sort of comes down your spinal column, and it's all caked and muddy down your spine and down to the lower back where all that mud also is. Those feeders were kind of in there. So now we need to clear the mud out and allow the light to come in as your natural balance. The doorway just flips, and then we just start to go down. It feels a lot better. The heart suddenly got a breath of air. Finally got a breath of air. What is this place? It's bright. I feel like there's a celebration. I feel like there's a party down here. It was my surprise birthday party. And I'm in, like, it looks like the Aliens, Aliens, the old school style. We're in a weird, like, there's all these grates that you're walking along in a weird place. And then there's grates everywhere. The walls are dry and look normal, and the grates are dry and normal. There's no, like, slimy alien crap everywhere. Everything's dry and normal and bright, and it feels like there's a surprise birthday party. But everything is grated. Like, even the tables are made out of grates, and the chairs. Something is way too creepy about this place. Like, I want to believe this is a wonderful celebration, but I swear to God, it is around the corner, and there's other, like, creepy things. This is the mirror is distorted. The mirror is not right. I feel like there's other versions of mirrors that are all, like, fabricated happy memories that aren't actually real memories. There's really something very creepy about this. And the more that we start to notice that something manipulative is involved, the mirrors become really solid and unbreakable. They weren't meant to be broken to begin with. We were meant to embrace the birthday celebration. Hey, good job, you made it. No, you don't need to go any further now. What are you afraid of finding in your spiritual atmosphere? And your ego is creating little landmarks to manipulate you and distract you away from the deeper part of what this is all about. So this is your ego. Your ego is the psycho clown. Everybody's ego is kind of like a psychopath in some way or another. I always am dealing with ego. So don't feel weird about it or anything. My ego has just got its own issues as well. So that's normal. That's actually normal ego. We just have to learn how to baby it, nurture it, give it a hug, so it can turn into like a happy child with a flower or something to say thank you. So the ego is sensitive, okay? Ego is feeling like I'm going too deep in your spiritual atmosphere, so it's creating a safe zone to distract me, when really it's a psychopath trying to prevent me from going deeper. And it's so mad at me, and it's created these like really thick walls so I can't go deeper than this. It doesn't want me to know what's down here. Because if I know, then ego is going to have to be different. Ego is going to need a new structure, and it needs to work differently. And down here could be as simple as, a lifetime where you lost the love of your life and you never could move on from it. And the moment that you heal that, now suddenly you're letting love in, and you don't need to feel sorrow anymore. You don't need to feel depression or there's something of this kind that doesn't actually make sense. And then have all these feeders feeding on your sexual body and all this other junk, because it was all related to you lost the soulmate and the love of your life in some other lifetime, and you were never able to move on from it, for instance. It could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be your head was ripped off and, all this psycho stuff. It can be as simple as that, okay? But that little lifetime right there is creating a huge ripple of memory in your soul journey, that once that's lifted out and we can come to peace and acceptance of it, now you can be the light. Now you can shine the light, and all your memories are going to come back to you, and now you can go find her, kind of thing. There's something about this. There's a reason why I came up with that as the example story. I'm not able to see it. I'm not able to find it, so I have to kind of make it up and then see how things react to that conversation. There's a reason why I just was inspired to say that, and now I'm like connecting the dots here back to a soulmate that came down to find you. And now we're starting to make sense that, wow, the heart is kind of behind the emotions, and we're feeling low and down and such. There's something about this. But let's see what happens next, okay? I'm not going to identify that is the specific lifetime event. I'm just going to say that there's something to this, okay? I gotta go to the clown. He's in one of the mirrors here. I'm supposed to be scared of him. He's supposed to be my childhood nightmare, which it was my childhood nightmare. I couldn't live my life for days after I watched It as a kid. It was like my childhood nightmare. I haven't seen the new It. I don't care to see the new It. But it's funny because I'm like, there's It, and I don't feel any like weirdness about it. I guess I grew out of that, huh? It's getting creepier because it is starting to get deflated, and there's something even creepier beyond it. And it is like deflated and then falling to the ground. But in this mirror world, which also looks like the inside of a crystal in a way, I'm going through another strange like cavern. It's kind of beautiful actually, but creepy. There's something creepy in the air. So I'm just walking through the creepy air, and I'm hitting a wall that comes to a point. There's no doorway, so it's like a dead end, but it's not. There is a dead end here. So we're talking about a dead end. This is a metaphor for something else. So I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to talk to the wall. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to say, I heard you are a dead end. I say, I've got an idea. It starts to stand up, and it just wants to choke me, but it can't reach me. I I tell the dead end that I know somebody that you might like to meet. This is really connected with the back of your head and the spinal column, right on into the lower back. Everything's freaking out right now. Everything is screaming at me. The whole space is trying to transform and attack me, and it can't do it. And I'm just allowing myself to continue to speak to the crack in the wall, the dead end. And I'm finding a way to bring her into this space, her light into this space. Man, is she ever unbelievably far away. I can't believe she made it that far. Like, how did she get that far? I just extend my arm like miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. And then I grab her light essence and I bring it in here. And she doesn't know you. She doesn't know anything about this. So my hand is just sort of going through her. And so when I try to bring her in here, I realize there's nothing in my hand. I say, why don't I bring you to her? She doesn't even realize that she's looking for you. I'm literally just talking to a crack in the wall, but this crack has value. This crack is actually the missing link. I know. It's like literally I'm looking at the corner of a wall, but it's actually kind of pretty because it's crystallized and stuff. So I'm just going to bring this corner of the wall as like an energy space, like a little, I don't know, just like a little line, I guess. And I just bringing this with me. This is the weirdest thing, but it's so cool too. It's also connected to your the back of your head, in your neck, and all the way down your spine. This line is, which is the missing link to all this. I bring you like a baby at the line. I'm sort of holding it like part of the wall with the line. And it's two sides to a wall with the line. It's the dead end. So I'm holding you like a baby, even though you look like a chunk of wall. And then I'm just bringing you out and I'm going past it. And I just go right through it. I'm just going straight to her. You're still in this space in a way. But you don't seem to... You're kind of all blacked out and you're on your knees and you're crying and you're confused. And it is watching you and it's not attacking you at all. It is just saying, I know. He's like trying to comfort you in a weird way. I mean, he is your ego, Ego does try to comfort us when we're down, but then it wants to keep us feeling down, and encourage us to keep feeling down. And if we try to feel up, it wants to attack us, because how dare you choose happiness? How dare you choose love? I don't know what that is. Ego doesn't know what love is. Ego is in your head. Your head does not know what love is. Your heart knows what love is. So that's why ego struggles. Ego struggles. So I'm still gravitating towards her. I'm almost there. She does not know herself at all. She doesn't know who she is at all. She doesn't remember anything. She's been on through so many lifetimes. I can't even, like you want to talk about 1,000 years down in the dark. She's definitely been in the 1,000 years of lifetimes. Like there's definitely a lot of lifetimes. I would say more than that. Way more than that. More than 1,000 years of lifetimes. Way more, it feels like. I just tap her on the shoulder. I look kind of like one of the creepy things that are down here. Because she wouldn't recognize me if I was an angel. She wouldn't. She would only recognize me as a creepy thing because she's been around creepy things for so long. She wouldn't know how to process an angel actually being here. So I look kind of creepy, like a creepy monster, zombie monster or something. And I just hand her this. And she's looking at the dead end, which is like just a chunk of crystal, but it also has like a curved line in the center. She sits down and she looks at this for a long time. She's not sure what to make of it. I'm really excited. I start to clap and I get really excited and I emanate a lot of love and it gets really loud. I'm actually emanating so much love that it's starting to rumble and to shake this whole place. Like, like it's like a whole place is like it's just shooting out of this epicenter of my heart and it's just like rumbling through everything. Oh my gosh. I don't know if she noticed that. I am doing something unbelievably powerful and I'm breaking this whole place apart. And I'm breaking it apart so I'm allowing the universe around her to emanate love and light. So she's slowly acclimating to a brighter light as she continues to look at this thing in her arms that she somehow it's familiar, but it's not familiar at the same time. She's just trying to make sense of what this means. I'm breaking apart this whole space. It doesn't exist anymore. Like it's not appropriate anymore. All the while I see you still there with it stuck in your head. And so it's time also for you to come with us. But I'm also just revolving, creating a revolution of transformation. So all the darkness is sort of cleared out and all that's left is light, which you both are full of light. You actually are both light. And it's kind of like your space, it's still there, and your space is disintegrating. It doesn't know what to make of this. You are still crying on your knees. You've forgotten everything as well. She stands up and holds this like a baby, and she walks towards you because she sees you now. Because you're both in the light. There's no walls between you. And it's standing there really confused still. But not attacking anybody. He's just trying to make sense of what's going on. This is your ego. And she hands this and says, do you know what this is? Do you remember this? Are you familiar with this? You look at it for a while. It's just kind of nice to have company. You're not really sure if this matters. Because just to have her close to you is kind of more special than anything else. You tell her, whatever this is, I kind of like you more than it. You like her more than it. That's interesting. Okay. And it is also, the clown is also kind of like, is just like getting way more peaceful and less and less and less. And the emanation of love between you both, reconnected, it's starting to be realized. When you look into her, you see that her soul's been through a lot of difficulty, a lot of pain and suffering. And you just want to give her a really long hug to help bring her back to life, help bring her back to the light. And you give her a super long hug. And for some reason it comes out of you and you say, I'm sorry. And she says, well, what are you sorry for? You say, I don't know, but I just feel like I needed to say that. And she says, oh, well, that was sweet. Thank you. And she gives you a hug back. And you both just hug each other for a while. And you just feel more and more safe and more close to each other's souls. And I start to see you both merging into each other and just turning into a star of light. And there's no human consciousness about it. There's just a star of light and it gravitates instinctively to the next experience. But this star of light is sort of spinning really, really fast, and there's a weird tangle of like energy that's coming out of it. It's like a bird that flies and then suddenly poops, It's like the star is taking off and it's like releasing something. It's funny. But it's doing that right now. It's still releasing like a weird string that's like coming out the bottom. If you feel, oh my God, do you ever feel better? Wow. We're really close. We're really, really close. I mean, night and day. You're going to be like, oh my God, where was I? I feel so much better. You're going to feel like that here. This is so cool. So the star is ready to take off with both souls are the star. Are both the souls are the star, the one star. And I feel like it's time to go beyond anything we have ever experienced before. All right, so the star is like in here, and then it's wanting to pop straight out of the top of your head. So let's see what's going on next. Everything feels so much better. I mean, you feel free. You feel like it's interesting because I'm waiting for you to blast off, but it's actually everything else that is leaving you. And you are staying in the same place while everything is revolving around you and all this. And I'm telling you, we're talking like massive goops, mountains of goop is just going away from you. Oh my gosh, is it ever amazing? And you're just a nucleus of light. And you're free. But you're both free somehow. What is this story about? Is she really her own soul emanation and you're your own soul emanation? Or is she the female side of yourself? And then the male side coming together and blending so you are balanced between the male and female sides of your own soul. The spirit realm is not saying an answer, which both answers can be true. Both answers could be correct. The spirit realm is really extraordinary. Like, we don't even know how two souls can come together and actually enter into a single body at the same time. And even your spirit guides are all integrated into your life experience. So they're a part of it too. Like, we see them as out there, but they're also a part of our personalities. And people who are really, really funny oftentimes have extremely hilarious spirit guides too. And so their personalities kind of intermixed with the spirit guide as well. So it's like we're so diverse, we don't even know. So all I can say is that the piece between the male and the female of this story, which is all about your story, and the story of potentially another amazing soul that in her story. Like, I think we need to give credit to this as also being a story about two soulmates that chose to, work through experiences together and wound up right here. So, and then we're talking about lifetimes. We're talking about huge spans of time. Not just one lifetime, but lots of lifetimes. All this goop is gone. You are breathable. I mean, you feel breathable. You feel like you just woke up from the grave. But you were never sleeping in a grave. You're just sort of sleeping in a grassy field, and you don't even know what happened. You somehow got kind of pulled into a dark experience, but now you're not. You're free of it, and you're able to relax. I see her sitting next to you, smiling at you. You're on her level now, which you always were. She, oddly enough, has like a cup of wine that she is encouraging you to drink. I don't know why, it sort of reminds me of another time, where they like had a pitcher of wine, and then they like something like she's wanting you to sit up and drink this wine. It's actually very refreshing to experience it. It's something feels Greek. Something feels like another time, maybe Roman. It feels like another time, but it feels refreshing to have this wine. It really feels refreshing. It feels romantic even. It feels like lovers. It feels like lovers in a beautiful world, a beautiful garden, even though I don't see like trees or flowers, but it feels like a garden. And it's two lovers. The more that the love grows between their hearts, the more that the world grows with love. And I starting to see like rose bushes and like all different types of flowers and fruit-bearing trees are starting to grow. It's starting to transform into a Garden of Eden. Bottom feeders do not like Gardens of Eden. Like they because they want to eat the poop. They want to eat the crumbly junk. They just want that, and that's what they're for. That's fine. But now they're not able to do that because this isn't their food. This isn't their type of food. It just looks like a Garden of Eden now. and you're both enjoying a wine. I mean, there's so much romance. I mean, there's so much intimacy that your souls feel when you are together. And that, I don't know what the Greek flair is. You know, it's about romance and love and the beauty and expression of beauty and all things. And it's something like that is emanating from this place and from your souls. And it's so beautiful. You actually hold her close, and there's a love-making experience that is, you're transitioning into a love-making experience. So you're making out right now, big time. You're like big time making out right now. I actually have to participate in watching this because that is the healing you're both of you need. So I gonna have to watch this take place. I feel so weird right now. I'm going to pretend I'm a bird in a tree and I do not understand it, but this is actually healing you big time. Healing you big time. And it's okay. Like, you actually need to have that. That is because of everything you've been through and all those feeders and all the wrong places. Like, that is purifying that space right now, which is kundalini purification, spine purification, purification of everything. You feeling so balanced, so much more balanced. The love between you is just so bright and so beautiful. And you're making love, but you're turning into two really bright lights. And it's starting to blend into a really bright star. So I can't actually see your bodies. I just see you as a really bright star. You both blended together. It's really beautiful. It's getting so bright now that the light is expanding, and it's actually the trees, everything is getting blended into the light, so you can't actually see anything because the light is getting so bright. This is real. This is the truth. This is the real truth. This is real. In this light, I experience you receiving so much wisdom, and it's like a massive activation and upgrade and all of that stuff. She too is experiencing the same thing because you're both blended as one. But I feel like your soul, the message that comes to me from this is that, how would I define it? How would I translate it? It's like, I'll just say it like this. Your soul feels like it's complete. It feels like it's completed all of its tasks or everything it wanted to discover. It didn't even fully know what it wanted to discover. It was just attracted to an experience. Then through the experience, it had more experiences and more experience and more experiences in order to come full circle. Now it's come full circle. I can't understand the relationship with her, but she too has come full circle, and you're both full circle together. And now you're both, because you're blended as one, you're both wanting to go see what else is out there in the universe that you are inspired to gravitate towards next. And so it's actually, this message is actually telling me that your soul feels complete. It feels like it has come full circle. I know that you're telling me, I know what we've seen, this challenge, the energy challenges, but beneath the surface of it is now we have all this healing deep down inside, that all this stuff is crumbled and all that's left is the light. And this is the message. This is actually the message. You're at peace with that, and that actually brings a lot of peace of mind and peace within your heart. You choose to grow your angel wings, and you're actually quite wise. You emanate being like a keeper of wisdom with your angel wings, and you are walking on the earth. And you walk slowly, almost like walking the ley lines kind of thing in a very straight line, but there's something sacred about your walk. Something holy, but you emanate wisdom as well. And you're not afraid if the ley line were to have to cross a mountain. You're not afraid to have to walk the ley line up to the very peak of the mountain and to the other side. Your soul is not afraid of that. And your soul is at peace with that journey, with that walk. And even if you have to walk an even taller mountain, it would seem even more difficult, your soul is not afraid of that, which is standing before me as a really beautiful angel. But also emanating, being much like a human, but a very like expanded, aware, self-aware human. I just see the scene fading out, and I just experience your heart is beating, and there's just a lot of love and peace of mind. I'm just waiting just a moment here. And just allowing your heart to come forward even more than it has. I actually called Archangel Raphael to come through and to work with me energetically to really enhance that heart vibe, and to bring that heart vibe even more to the front than ever before, so you can really experience that. We're also inspired to, there's something about the backside of your heart portal. It needs to be opened up on the backside, because it's just, there's just something isn't balanced in the flow of your heart. Even after all of this energy work, there's still just a little bit that's saying, but me, please do this quick. So let's see. I'm pulling out a weird tube, and just pulling it out of your heart portal. That feels good. I'm breaking up what is a border or a boundary between how far you can express love or how deeply you could feel love. So we're breaking the boundary here. So again, we're pulling out another weird chunk off the backside. We're expanding the heart portal out and allowing the light to flow from front to back to front, and then also expand from all sacred directions. And we're inspired to bring the starlight back into your heart portal, so you can experience that light emanating from within your heart. My spirit guides say something along the lines of, this soul sacrificed herself for you all these lifetimes, so that your soul could receive this blessing. But obviously her soul also received blessings too from it. But there's something about this star that you are, she's also a part of it, and it's very bright, and it's within your heart. So now you are emanating her sacrifice for you, which is her love for you, is also emanating within your heart. And your angel soul needed to know about this, or needed a reminder about it. Feels a lot better now. Feels like we're good. This is going to give you a lot to work with. I'm a little out of it still, sorry. That was quite an intense experience. This is connecting from your spiritual atmosphere more now. It's coming back into my body more. I'm feeling fully disconnected from your spiritual atmosphere. I feel more like myself. All right, Jonathan, thank you so much. This was really an interesting experience, and thank you so much for this. And I'm pretty excited for how you're going to be feeling as this energy work processes. You're going to be feeling a lot brighter, like a totally new person. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in exploring a psychic session with me, please visit me on my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.